Hey Ralph, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Michael, and you?
Good, good, thank you. Hey, I had a quick question. I was wondering if you could show me how to set up retention types for a document type with an OnBase.
Yeah, I'd be happy to walk you through that.
Great, thank you.
Today in this video, I will be discussing setting retention types for a document type. In this, I will discuss what are the benefits of document retention, the retention types, and also records management versus document retention. And lastly, in the video, I will show a brief overview of the document retention process. Stay tuned. Now, you might be wondering, what is document retention? Document retention manages the retention and disposition of stored documents according to predefined business rules per class of document. The destruction process is initiated by the passage of time, allowing for automatic destruction and removal from OnBase. As a result, organizations get to avoid fines and reduce legal risks associated with expired content. Document retention is often the initial critical component of a completely automated records management solution. Now, you might be wondering, what are the benefits of document retention? For one, it enforces a structured retention policy. This involves a policy for destruction consistently across an enterprise. It also involves support compliance with corporate and legal regulations through defined and enforced criteria for maintaining and destroying documents. To add to this, it minimizes legal risks with expired records. Furthermore, it reduces processing expenses associated with manual deletion of unneeded documents. And lastly, it saves storage space through automatic destruction of documents that no longer have value in the system. To venture into this more, we have three retention types. And for those, we have static, dynamic, and permanent. Now let's take a look. Static retention requires a purge processor. Automatically removes qualified documents after the retention period expires. An example would be a company that produces relevant daily production reports only for 10 days. After 10 days, these reports are no longer needed and are automatically purged. Fixed time interval. The retention period is based on a specific number of months, days, and years. It's simple purging when you think about it. Once the period has passed, the documents are purged automatically. These are suitable for types of documents that do not need to be retained past a certain time period or point. Let's take a look at dynamic retention. This one's a little more in depth and provides more customization though. It requires both an evaluation and purge processors. Documents must be evaluated prior to being removed by a purge processor. Can be evaluated by workflow, VB script, or external DLL file. Dynamic retention is a process that puts you more in control and allows the retention period to change based on specific events or conditions. It's event activated. The retention period can be adjusted based on events such as employee termination dates or other business specific prompts. It requires processing. An evaluation process must determine which documents need to be retained or purged based on events. It can be integrated with workflows, scripts, or external actions to facilitate dynamically setting retention dates. Lastly, let's talk about permanent retention. Permanent retention is a type that permanently retains documents. The document type cannot be selected for use with a document retention processor. Let's explore now records management versus document retention. Records management is event-based, can require user approval before document removal, it's configured at the folder type level, and can place multiple holds on a document at once, where document retention is time-based, automatic, and configured at document type level, and can only place one hold on a document at a time. On this page, we have a more in-depth look at records management versus document retention. This page includes the primary features of records management versus document retention, including the workflow integration, the delete options, and reporting. After going through this, now I'm going to jump into the document retention process. From here, I will give you a visual tutorial of the process and walk through each step I go through. Now, let's dive into the document retention process. From here, I'm going to go Document, Document Types. For the sake of the video, I'm going to just use AP checks as the example. Then I'm going to go to retention. From retention, you'll notice up here we have the three options mentioned earlier in the video, which was static, dynamic, and permanent. But also we have date options down below. And if you're curious about that, we have document date, the retention period that is based on the document date. The document date is assigned to a document during import. this is used during document searches that are limited by date. We also have date stored. It's the retention period based on the date stored. The date stored is the date the document was imported into OnBase. This date is used for internal tracking, though you cannot search for documents based on date stored. And lastly, we have keyword. And for keyword, the retention period is based on a keyword value of the selected date keyword type. For a document type retention, this option is only available when the date keyword type is assigned to the document type. For the sake of this video though, now I'm going to choose between static, dynamic, and permanent, and I'm going to go with static. For this, I'm going to select 2 years. From there, I'm going to click Save, then close out of here. After closing that out, our next steps will be to go to Import. Following Import, we'll go to Document Retention Processor. In here, we'll do our retention process name. Then we'll click Create. In here, we're met with 2 retention process types, the purging process and the evaluation process. In the evaluation process, this can only be used to process document types that have been defined as dynamic retention type, specifically user-defined actions or documents before they are ready for removal. However, we now have the purging process, and this applies to static retention type documents that meet time-based criteria defined at the document type or document type group level. It also applies to dynamic retention type documents that have been evaluated and meet time-based criteria defined at the document type or document type group level. For now, we're going to click Save on the purging process. Then we're going to go to Settings. In here, we're met with Report Details and Deletion Options. Under the Report Details and Deletion Options, we have Exclude Documents. Exclude documents in an evaluation process. Enabling this checkbox ensures that all documents that have been excluded from the process are listed in the Sys Document Retention Report. Enabling this during the purge process ensures all documents that have both surpassed their expiration dates have been excluded from the process and are listed in the Sys Document Retention Report. Now, we have Include Exclusion Reason. This option is only enabled when the document option is selected. Next, we have Purge Documents. Enabling this checkbox ensures that all documents that have been removed by the purging process are listed in the Sys Document Retention Report. Then we have Summary Information. Enabling this checkbox summarize purge documents by document type to appear on the report. Now let's venture into deletion options. The Scrub File area. In addition to removing files from their physical storage in the disk group as well as the pointers in the database, this option makes files no longer feasibly recoverable. Then we have Retain Keywords. Retain keywords when files are removed from their physical storage in a disk group, as well as all database references, documents associated with keyword types and values are retained. Then we have Keep History Log. When this option is selected, the system retains the document history actions for the purged documents. When running Document History Transaction Log Report, data for that purged document is included. However, when deselected, the system purges the document history actions for purged documents. Then we have Add Purge Message Transaction Log. When the Keep History Log is selected, this option is enabled. When the Add Purge Message to Transaction Log is selected, an entry is added to the document history of the purged documents indicating that it was deleted by Document Retention Purge process. As you can see, we have under Process and Options, Lifecycle. Lifecycle sends a qualified documents to initial queue of the workflow lifecycle assigned to the document retention process. Then we have Perform System Work, which executes the system work lifecycle as soon as the documents are added to it. Also makes it so the connection application to the server is required for the selected process. Here we have VB Script. VB Script executes the assigned document retention process for all qualified documents. Then lastly, we have External Processor, which sends all qualified document processor DLL indicated in the External Processor text field. If you're like me, you may want report details after running the document retention process. So for now, I'm going to select Purge Documents and Summary Information, just the bare basics. Then I'm going to click Save. In here, I'm going to click Documents. From there, I'm going to add the document type groups and the document type, and then click Add. Then we're going to close out of here. Now, for this next part, you're going to want to have the AP checks open in the OnBase client if you want to see just how many documents will be purged. From here, I'm just going to check on the properties of the document. So this one was stored in 2008 of March. Now let's check another. This one was also 2008. Now, these are more modern ones we could look at, which was stored 2024. Going through this, I wanted to show you guys this just as a reminder because we did set the purge process for 2 years. So let's close this out and get ready to run it. From here, I'm going to select Admin, then Document Retention. In here, click Process, then Purge Process. Then right-click and Document Retention Processor. From here, I'm just going to run a brief test really quick. Just in case I'm not sure, I may just want to run a test. Click Process. Here we go. Let's expand this box out. In here, we see how a process of a test document retention would go through. Right? Now, I'm ready to run the real thing. Let's uncheck this, then click Process. Click Yes. Now let's exit out of here. Now let's check on AP's checks. Now, look at this. All we have is our documents from 2024. As you can see, the document retention process is now complete and should be good to go.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions that you'd like to see answered in an upcoming Question Corner video, leave us a comment below.